Let's shift our focus. Trump and Putin have spoken. The ice is broken. Trump has also reached out to Zelensky. A short while ago, the US president posted on Truth Social that there is good possibility of ending the horrible, very bloody war. However, his next words sent shockwaves through Europe. Listen to what Trump said when asked if Ukraine would be part of the peace process.
Do you view Ukraine as an equal member of this peace process?
It's an interesting question. I think they have to make peace. Their people are being killed, and I think they have to make peace. I said that was not a good war to go into, and I think they have to make peace. That's what I think.
Now, Trump's response fueled fears of a deal done over Kyiv's head. It's cast doubt on Ukraine regaining its pre-2014 borders, including Crimea, as part of any ceasefire agreement. He also says Ukraine cannot be a part of NATO, something the West has been promising Kyiv. Europe has been caught unaware. The Trump administration is signaling plans for direct talks with Russia without involving Europe or Kyiv. The tensions are palpable over what will happen next. NATO defense ministers are meeting in Brussels, and all of them are urging Washington to take them into confidence. One after another, European leaders are making the same plea.
It is clear that any deal behind our backs will not work. Any agreement will need also Ukraine and Europe being part of it, and this is clear that appeasement also always fails.
It is regrettable, and I say this myself, but it is part of the truth. The Trump administration has already made public concessions to Putin before negotiations have even begun.
And let's not forget, Russia remains a threat well beyond Ukraine. So my message in these discussions will be that there can be no negotiation about Ukraine without Ukraine, and Ukraine's voice must be at the heart of any talks.
Zelensky says that Ukraine is a sovereign country and says will not be able to accept any agreements without Kyiv. Trump's defense chief denies any betrayal of Ukraine, but European allies feel blindsided.
There is no betrayal there. There is a recognition that the whole world and the United States is invested and interested in peace, a negotiated peace. As President Trump has said, stopping the killing.
Pete Hegseth isn't the only one defending and pushing Trump's plan. U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance is in Munich for the security conference on Friday alongside U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio, while Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent is in Kyiv meeting Zelensky with Ukraine's rare earth minerals topping his agenda. The Kremlin, meanwhile, watches the Western outrage with amusement. Moscow says it is surprised at the daze caused by Trump's conversation with Putin and hopes, quote-unquote, the West will sober up.
Many people in the West, starting with the leaders of the European Union, are in a daze. When a normal elementary conversation between two well-mannered, polite people who put their differences to one side, took place.
While the diplomatic tensions rise, the battlefield remains unforgiving. Russia claims yet another advance in the Donbas region, capturing new territory. It also boasts of destroying a Ukrainian drone production facility. The war is far from over and Kyiv faces a critical moment. Trump is pushing for a deal. Europe is warning against betrayal. Russia is advancing. Ukraine's fate is hanging in the balance.
Trump and his defense secretary yesterday laid out a series of positions that contradict positions that the U.S.
All right, John Bolton, who during the previous administration was former assistant to the president for national security affairs, spoke exclusively to WION addressing how the Trump administration has put Russia in a strong position to negotiate, which he says will come at a cost for Ukraine. Listen to this.
Trump and his defense secretary yesterday laid out a series of positions that contradict positions that the U.S. And its NATO allies have held for a long time. Most importantly, the objective that NATO has had now, ever since Russia's unprovoked aggression in February of 2022, is the full restoration of Ukraine's territory and territorial integrity and sovereignty. And that objective is now gone. And not only was it given away, it was given away before any negotiation. And as far as we know on the public record, without any concessions or reciprocity by Putin and the Russians. Second, the prospect of NATO membership is now off the table, which has been a fundamental Russian demand, even though it was President George W. Bush who convinced NATO in 2008 to make it clear that NATO membership was in prospect for Ukraine. And really, it's the whole manner of giving in to some of these fundamental Russian points, notwithstanding their huge defeats on the battlefield in Ukraine, affects the negotiations before they ever begin. And so it puts Russia in a very, very good bargaining position.
For latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.